Well, I can't say that I'm surprised. The Krassensteins got a visit from the Secret Service because they had posted 8647. For those that aren't familiar, we did a big breakdown on 86 and what it means, and it's typically used to refer to get rid of something, to explain that something's not readily available, or in mafia urban legend, it means 8 miles out and 6 feet under, or 80 miles out and 6 feet under. Either way, you're far away and you're dead. So the Krassensteins, in response to the story about former FBI Director Comey, came out, made these posts, and then got a visit from the Secret Service. Now, the funny thing is, these guys are posting, this is what Adolf Hitler did. He sent his Gestapo to go and arrest people for daring to question him. Indeed. You're right. You're right. Utah man suspected of threatening President Joe Biden shot and killed as FBI served warrant. Would you like to try again, liberal Krasen bros? Because this didn't happen to you. This happened to those that threatened Joe Biden. An armed Utah man accused of making violent threats against Joe Biden was shot and killed by FBI agents hours before the president landed in the state Wednesday. Special agents were trying to serve a warrant on the home of Craig DeLue Robertson in Provo when the shooting happened at 6:15 a.m. He was armed at the time, according to law enforcement. Now, let me just tell you guys, okay? This guy was morbidly obese and elderly. I mean, he was a threat to nobody. He wasn't going anywhere. You shouldn't make these threats. You should be arrested. And I don't know how else this would have played out. The guy clearly didn't want to be arrested, but we can't have people making these threats because how do they track? If everybody is doing it, it's going to make it trying to find a needle in a haystack when someone actually really does mean it. They say this guy was planning on digging out a camouflage suit and begin cleaning the dust off his M24 sniper rifle, a post that came after months of graphic online threats against public figures. Robertson referred to himself as a MAGA Trumper. Make America great again, blah, blah, blah. Neighbors described Robertson as a frail, elderly man, 74 years old, who walked with the aid of a hand-carved stick. Though he regularly carried guns, they said he didn't seem a threat. There's no way that he was driving from here to Salt Lake City, setting up a rifle and taking a shot at the president. 100% no way. Now, what they could have done is they could have, instead of, killing the guy, waited for the elderly man to come out for food and then arrested him and said, bro, you don't make threats against presidents. I don't like Biden, but you don't do that. So, Krasen bros. 8647 may not always be a threat, but it can be. Here's a post from Defiant Els. This guy said, fun fact, the Secret Service is going to pay you a visit. And Brian Krassenstein said, fun fact, no, they aren't. And then a day later, breaking, the Trump admin just sent the U.S. Secret Service to Ed Krassen's home because he tweeted a number that meant impeachment. These people are scumbags, bro. You're liars, okay? You know that it is a threat. Not always, but it doesn't matter. What if you said to curb a guy, right? You know what I mean? Curb could mean throw them to the curb, or it could mean stomp them to death. Like, just because you think sometimes the word isn't a threat doesn't mean you get to make a threat. They said that he released a video, which he can be heard saying that he would never, ever call for violence against anyone. So moments ago, the Trump admin just had Secret Service come to my house. You might be wondering why. Because yesterday I made a post that said 8647, which means get rid of Trump as an impeach Trump. No, he didn't say that. He said, Trump wants to be a dictator, and I will not be intimidated into not voicing my opinions or my dissent against him. Yeah, I want to stress the Secret Service has jurisdiction here, and I doubt Trump is involved in the day-to-day.
So moments ago, the Trump administration just had the U.S. Secret Service come to my house. You might be wondering why. Because yesterday I made a post that said 8647, which means, if you look it up, get rid of Trump, as in impeach Donald Trump.
No.
As in 25th Amendment Donald Trump. As in vote Trump out of office.
Nope.
Why, you may ask?
You can't vote Trump out of office. He's on his final term. He's gone no matter what at the end of this term. He's lying.
Because last night on the news, Donald Trump made the claim that 8647 means assassinate him, which it doesn't. I would absolutely never, ever call for violence against anyone, let alone the President of the United States. So the Secret Service agents were extremely friendly. They were like, yeah, we understand. It's just something we have to do because Washington told us to. Washington told them to come give me a visit. That's what he said. Trump wants to be a dictator, and I will not be intimidated into not voicing my opinions or my dissent.
Cringe. Bro, you knew exactly what was going to happen when you did it. That's why you were blasting it out there. They say Comey had been interviewed by Secret Service on Friday about his post on social media. You want to know what's really crazy? The post he made, 8647, was exactly 8,647 days since 9/11. And I don't know how people decided to look that up, but I checked several times, and it's true. 8,647 days after 9/11, Comey writes 8647. People were then claiming that this was a sign that they were planting a false flag or something. They're going to mention that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed the next that Comey had been interviewed. She said that she would take all measures necessary to ensure the protection. Now, here's the problem. Comey wrote, "cool shell formation on the beach." And it said 8647. 86 can mean get rid of somebody, or it can mean to kill them. Here's the issue. Comey says this. Krassenstein say it. They are trying to normalize the use of the phrase. They are trying to intentionally expand the ability to call for the assassination of Trump through stochastic terrorism. Here's the idea. The Krassensteins say 8647 over and over again and go, it just means to impeach. It just means to impeach, despite knowing that it actually does imply, in some contexts, possibility for murder. A crazy person online sees everybody spam blasting 8647, and he does not interpret it as just impeach him. He interprets it as take action. And so he does. And that's the problem. Then he does. That's the oh, won't someone rid me of this priest moment. So spare me. When Joe Biden had his FBI literally kill a man, an old man who couldn't walk. Now, I'm going to say it again. Old man, I don't care if you're old. I don't care if you're young. Don't be posting threats against presidents. We don't want that kind of instability. We want, I'll tell you the world I envision. The world that I want is me sitting in a lounge chair, flipping through the news with the big old thing of chicken wings. And there's the president saying something marginally disagreeable. We have a unified culture for the most part. We disagree on minor policies, kind of like how it used to be. The president comes on and says, I'm going to be pushing for SALT deductions. We want this. And I'm going to go, oh, come on. That basically means blue states with high taxes are going to be taking money out of the pocket of the federal government. So the red states got to cover the rest. Yeah, I get it that the federal government gives grants and everything, but no, let's not create that imbalance. And then I'll say, did you guys order the pizza? Because the worst thing we have to care about is whether or not we're getting taxed too much or too little. That's a great vision for our country. And so I'll tell you this. I hope for a presidency where he's doing things that people are largely like, yeah, it's okay. No, I can't stand it when he does this, that, or otherwise, but, I'll vote for the next guy. And that's about as mad as you get. And then you vote. And the changes will be, I don't know, not too different. My point is, we want a unified culture. We want political disagreements because we want people to try and find the best solutions forward. So they're not going to agree on everything. We want that competition. What we don't want is for people to make these threats, like this guy, even he should not have gotten killed. This guy making this threat, what happens? It emboldens other people. They start making threats. Then you have 50,000 people all making crazy threats, and you don't know which ones are real or fake. That's why they go after people and say, don't do it. Zero tolerance. Now, I think the Krassensteins should get a slap on the wrist. I think they should get like a $50 fine or something. Not because I think that it's the end of the world. I think they need to say, there's going to be a deterrent. We don't want you doing this. Now, I know these people have called out Jack Posobiec for posting 8646. What these people don't get, or what they do and they're lying about. First, I don't think Jack should have posted that. Jack, it would appear, was posted this in response to them saying 8647. 8647 has been something they've said a lot, and it is a veiled threat. And when it comes from Comey, it's more alarming because scale matters. I don't care who you are. If you're on the right, don't post 86 somebody. But now they're trying to claim, yeah, well, he did this. And I said, okay. I tweeted 8 miles out, 6 feet under. And then one of these guys responds, yeah, well, what does this mean? And it was Jack Posobiec saying 8646. And I responded, 8 miles out and 6 feet under. I don't think you get it. They want to play these games. They act like everybody on the right or everybody's always going to be just like, I am allowed to do it, but you're not. But I'll add the context. Jack was probably posting it because the left was posting it about Trump. So he said, okay, I'll post it about you. You want to play that game? Jack is not the kind of guy who initiates these things. And they don't understand that, or they don't care. They want to rope you in and then blame you for what they started. I'm going to wrap it up there, my friends. Stay tuned. Timcast Hour about tonight's going to be massive. Follow me on X and Instagram. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all then.